The filly and mare sprint has a long run to the turn, but there are a few true early speed types, meaning the field could bunch up. Horses drawn outside or coming from far back could face problems. Book Review is very good as a 3-year-old, but hasn't gotten a step better this year, and there's no reason to expect her to do so now. Since she's never run a figure that gives her a chance here, and should be one of the favorites, she's a bet against. Dance Card got good late last year, went wrong, then came back with a return to her top. This is an okay pattern, and we would definitely use this filly if the race was in New York. Maybe by now we'll know how Kieran's horses are running. Dance to Bristol has been, along with Cluster of Stars, the best sprinting filly in the country most of the year, with 5 of her last 6 being very strong, including most of the negative figures run this year by this field. Her only subpar effort came at Saratoga and allowed Book Review to get close. On her good ones, this filly is obviously a strong contender, but she's going to be making her 11th start of a long campaign and getting on a plane for the first time. And as well as she's run this year, Dance to Bristol has yet to put 2 negative figures in a row. Groupie Doll ran 2 enormous figures for a filly last year, one over this track in this race. Both those big ones came when she went from synthetic to dirt, as she does now. This mare is relatively fresh, having made only 3 starts, looks to be set for one of her good ones, and even running 2 points off her top would make her awful tough here. She does have a running style that causes ground loss, but Groupie Doll is a likely repeat winner against a field that is slower and less fresh than she is. Judy the Beauty was fast but not that sound until this year, when she has put in a solid campaign. The further unsound horses get into a campaign, the more likely their issues will surface. And this is one that's coming off a return to a lifetime top that preceded a layoff last time. The good news is the Ward has a good record to Santa Anita. But even if this filly does hold it together, she's unlikely to beat Groupie Doll again on dirt at level weights. Summer Applause came back from a long layoff to have a solid campaign this year and broke through with a new top on Polly last time in the Spinster. She's better than 50-50 to bounce, but she will be a price, so she's usable in exotics. Somebody should ask Chad Brown why he hasn't tried this one on turf. She might be a killer. Sweet Lulu is very consistent, running the same figure regardless of surface or distance. But she isn't that fast, and won a very weak edition of the test. Teddy's Promise hasn't quite gotten back to her best efforts from last year, but has been very solid this year. Both years she tailed off over the summer, but this time not nearly as badly, and the last was probably good enough to get her into the exotics. She put together 4 good ones in a row last winter and spring, so why not? Groupie Doll is clearly the most likely winner, but there's a possibility she could run the best figure and get beat because of ground loss from out there if the pace is slow. Tris may greatly affect the outcome of this race, and it's tough to predict how they're going to work out.